Rest in peace to the Dreamcast. In 2001, the Dreamcast was officially discontinued, which is a shame really because this console was kind of ahead of its time, being one of the first to have online gaming and even a built-in modem. Console was honestly impressive, and despite not being alive during that era, obviously, I can look back and say this thing was probably really sick. It's a shame that it died so soon, but things happen. With the Dreamcast failing and being discontinued, obviously, Sonic needed a new home, and obviously, starting in 2002, Sega would go on to release Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube, and not even a year later we got Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube. And that was good and all, but like, what was gonna happen to the original titles, you know, the newer titles? Well, in 2004, the year I was born actually, the next mainline Sonic game would be released for the GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. A multi-platform game, I mean, to my knowledge, that was the first time Sega ever did something like that. And to be fair, I mean, it was the most logical step. This would allow Sonic to be brought to an even broader audience. The game in question today is, by many people, considered to be the beginning of the downfall of the Sonic series. This game being so divisive that no matter where you look, you'll always see a different opinion about this game. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, Sonic Heroes. Despite being a literal infant during the GameCube's run, this is actually a game I have a physical copy for. These GameCube discs are pretty charming, despite being so small you could probably use them as a cup holder. Anyways, the game, Sonic Heroes has you control over 3 separate characters, all at the same time. And while this may sound overwhelming, it's actually not that bad, it's actually pretty intuitive. You can switch whatever character you want to be in the lead, and each character has their own abilities. And the characters themselves are separated into 3 different groups. The speed characters are pretty self-explanatory. These are the characters who are basically just a Sonic clone. They go fast, they can use the homing attack, light dash, etc. The flight characters are pretty self-explanatory. They can fly. You'd probably want to use these characters when you want to take an alternate pathway or a shortcut. And finally, the power characters, basically being the combat-centric ones. They allow you to beat up enemies and are best for dealing damage or cleaning out large groups of enemies. This is a great concept, honestly. I like being able to take control of 3 separate characters all at once. The problem is, the execution to me kind of falls flat. This was the first game to introduce health bars for the enemies, and with later levels, the enemies become very tanky, like having too much fucking health. It gets to a point where it's best to just use the power characters because they deal the most damage and they can deal with bigger enemies efficiently. And outside of that, me personally, I end up maining the power characters a good majority of the game, not just because of the enemies, but because of the speed. Let's just jump to it. The controls fucking suck again. The same issues I had with Shadow the Hedgehog are very much present here, and that probably doesn't help because these games are both built on the same engine to my knowledge. And god, when you're using a speed character and you're going too fast, you can just feel yourself losing control. I will give this point to Heroes over Shadow. At least I don't feel heavy when jumping most of the time. But Jesus Christ, it's like these motherfuckers' feet were lubed up with butter. They also totally screwed up the light dash at certain points, but meh. And outside of the control issue, I just find the game to be tedious to replay. You have to beat this game 4 separate times to unlock the final story. And again, as opposed to Adventure 1, there's nothing different. All the characters play the damn same. You go through the same levels. What were they doing? Okay, to some extent, because Team Chaotix has a mission-based gameplay style, and I'm not gonna say how that makes me feel. I feel bad because I find these levels to once again look amazing. This game, despite coming before Shadow, looks 2 times better. This is the closest they've gotten to it looking like a Genesis game in this 3D world. This game is colorful, it has character, these levels look really beautiful. That damn GameCube, man, it could do some shit like the Wii could. That motherfucker may have sold poorly, but god damn, the GameCube could do some graphics, man. The levels are fine, I suppose, in terms of design. But oh boy, these levels go on for so fucking long, and depending on the team you're playing, they could be longer or shorter. Team Dark by far gets the fucking worst of it, like holy shit. I definitely think Team Rose gets the best of it. Their levels are nowhere near as long, but they're long enough so the game doesn't feel like fucking Sonic Forces. Team Sonic's kind of in the middle because some of their levels are decent length, other levels are utter bullshit. And Team Chaotix... Oh man, it's shit like this that really deters me from replaying this game, you know? I find the game to have so much charm, but it's so flawed on many fronts. This game is just confusing to me, like, I don't really know how to feel about it. You know, with like Sonic Lost World, it was very clear to me how I felt, like, you know, the game made me sleepy. But Sonic Heroes is just such a bipolar game that it makes me feel bipolar, because one moment I'm enjoying the game, the next moment I want to put the shit down and never play it again. If the controls were just fine-tuned and the level lengths were shortened, and if the fucking Chaotix would banish back to Knuckles Chaotix Purgatory, maybe I'd be able to say this game is wonderful. But there's a part of me that doesn't find this game to be bad, and that's the part that conflicts me. The music is great, you know, there's a lot of memorable tracks in this game, obviously the vocal themes, but outside of that, level themes like Casino Park, the special stage theme. Dude, Hang Castle is such a fucking sick theme, dude, I swear. I also think the story is pretty decent again, you know, it's another straightforward, lighthearted story with none of the edgy, dark bullshit that was in the next game. I also really enjoy the plot twist that every Eggman encounter was actually just a clone. It's also gratifying to see Metal Sonic be the main villain in this game, but like, I really want to like this game. I really want to consider this to be one of the best Sonic games, but there's so much holding it back, and it's just like, I want to like this game because I think there's a solid foundation here. I love the teaming mechanic. I really think that's a good idea. And I get it, they wanted to incentivize people to play the other stories too, but locking the final ending behind that is not the way to do it. They should have made the other stories play different from one another, because the fact that each story has only 3 gameplay styles and they're very similar just makes it very homogenous. If you wanted to incentivize people to play the other stories, you should have made them different from each other. And I don't mean give Shadow a gun different, I mean like give them some abilities that are unique to them. They kind of do this, but it's just reskins of other abilities. And the control, man, what the fuck was happening? They nailed it so perfectly in Adventure 1 and 2, and then every game after this just like has a slow decline of like how the controls feel. But you know what? At least I can control my character at will. Fuck you, Sonic and the Secret Rings. I'm very confused about this game, but hey, look, it is not the worst Sonic game we've ever gotten, but it was 100% the beginning of the downfall. All in all, Sonic Heroes, you confused the fuck out of me, but hey, I can see the charm in you. Anyways guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know how you feel about Sonic Heroes, because I know this was, like I said, a very divisive game, so I'm interested to see the differing opinions in the comments down below. Anyways, I will see you guys next game. Peace out, everybody.